All right, when we think about cancer treatment, the classic idea has always been, hit it with everything you've got, maximum force. But what if that's changing? There's this huge shift happening, a move toward an approach that's not just smarter, but actually kinder. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea in breast cancer care, the incredible power of doing less. I know, it sounds a little wild, right? That we could actually get better results. And I'm not just talking about survival, I mean a better quality of life by dialing back the intensity of the treatment. But that exact question, that's what's driving some of the most exciting cutting-edge research happening right now. So, for so long, the war on cancer was exactly that, a war. The strategy was maximum force. The goal? Simple. Survival, whatever it takes. But things are different now. We're getting better at this. Survival rates are improving, and that's letting us step into a totally new era. The focus is shifting. It's not just about helping patients live anymore, it's about helping them live well. And this is the key, right here. We're moving away from that old one-size-fits-all playbook. The new frontier? It is all about personalization. And this is only possible because we have these incredible tools now, things like advanced imaging and genetic tests that let us see with amazing clarity what treatment a specific person needs, and maybe even more importantly, what treatment they don't. Okay, so to really see this new way of thinking in action, we're going to look at a super interesting clinical trial. It's called NOGA, and it is a perfect case study for this whole less is more idea, especially when dealing with a really aggressive form of breast cancer. Now, this trial, it focuses on something called triple-negative breast cancer, or TNBC for short. And this one is known for being a real challenge. Why? Well, because it's missing the usual hormone receptors that a lot of other cancer drugs are designed to target. And what that's meant, historically, is that you've got to rely on some pretty heavy-duty, pretty harsh chemotherapy. And yeah, that standard treatment, it's a real double-edged sword. It works, no doubt about it, but it comes with a huge toxicity burden. We're talking about this one class of chemo drugs called anthracyclines. They get the job done, but man, they carry some serious long-term baggage, like the risk of permanent heart damage, or even, in rare cases, a new leukemia caused by the treatment itself. So, this brings us right to the heart of the NOGA trial. The big question is this. If some patients respond really, really well to the first, less toxic part of the chemo, could they just skip the harshest part? Could they safely avoid those anthracyclines completely without hurting their chances of a great outcome? So, how do they actually do it? It's pretty brilliant, actually. It's like an MRI-guided journey. Everybody starts with that first, less toxic chemo cocktail. Then comes the big moment. They do a breast MRI. And here's the fork in the road. If that MRI comes back clean, showing no visible tumor, that patient gets to skip the really tough stuff and go right to surgery. If there's still something there, okay, then they go on to finish the standard full course of chemo. It's totally dynamic. It responds to the patient. And what everyone is hoping for here, the main goal, is something called a pathological complete response. You'll hear it called PCR. This is the absolute gold standard. It basically means that after surgery, when the pathologists look at the tissue under a microscope, they find zero invasive cancer cells left. It's all gone. And achieving that PCR, it is a huge predictor of great long-term survival. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. This NOGA trial, it isn't just some random isolated experiment. Nope. It is part of a much bigger global shift in cancer research. This is the kind of stuff that was the talk of the town at huge conferences, like the recent San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium. This really is the paradigm shift we've been talking about. Think about it. We're going from the old way, a rigid, max dose for everyone protocol that only looked at survival, to this new, flexible, totally personalized approach. We're using amazing tools like imaging and biomarkers to find the right dose for the right person, always trying to balance that long-term survival with their quality of life right now. And look, this isn't just a hopeful idea. There is solid data backing this up. For example, a big analysis of the TAILOR-X trial showed that tons of patients with a low genetic risk score got absolutely no extra benefit from those harsh anthracyclines. And even more directly related to the NOGA trial, the TRAIN-3 study basically showed that if you see a great response on that early MRI, it's a super strong sign of a good outcome later on, which totally supports this idea of cutting chemo short for some people. You know, this whole new era of personalized medicine, It's not just about what doctors can do less of, it's also about what patients can do more of. It's about empowering people, giving them tools to actively improve their own recovery. And that brings us to the incredible power of holistic support. And get this, one of the most powerful tools in that toolbox is exercise. A huge meta-analysis, that's basically a study of a whole bunch of other studies, confirmed what a lot of people already felt was true. For breast cancer patients, regular, structured physical activity is like a powerful medicine. It has a massive positive impact on their quality of life. And we're not talking about small improvements here. The benefits they found were just huge, across the board. Exercise was shown to significantly boost everything from their general health and physical function to their emotional state. And this is so important. It also helped them manage some of the absolute worst side effects of treatment, things like crushing fatigue, nausea, and insomnia. Now, let's be real, it wasn't a magic bullet for everything. The research was also very clear about what exercise didn't seem to help with significantly. Things like pain, loss of appetite, or that chemo brain fog, exercise alone didn't reliably fix those. And you know what? That's super important to know too, because it helps us understand where we need to bring in other kinds of support. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've talked about a major shift in the whole philosophy of treatment. We've looked at a cool trial like NOGA, that's putting that philosophy into practice, and we've seen the proven power of things patients can do themselves. Put it all together, and it really feels like we're watching the dawn of a new era in cancer care. The future, it really looks like a partnership. It's a combination of these three amazing things: using intelligent diagnostics like an MRI to guide the way, using tailored medicine like these de-escalation trials to do less harm, and focusing on patient-centered care like exercise programs to make life better during and after treatment. You know, there's this quote from the researchers that just sums it up perfectly. The goal isn't efficacy or quality of life anymore. It's not a trade-off. The goal now is to boost both at the same time using a personalized approach. It's finally about treating the whole person, not just the disease. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. All this research we've gone through today, it's not just about better science or new drugs. It points to something much deeper for all of medicine. As our technology gets more and more brilliant, how do we make absolutely sure that our care also becomes more human?